Hey guys, what's going on? So they are currently teasing 31.1. And in the comments of this one, Dr. Agon, who is the moderator, higher up person, also stated that in 31.1 is when we're also going to get Trapper talents. But we're also getting a Mari rework as well as a Demonologist rework. This is a speculatory... This is going to be the speculation side of this video, where I talk about things that I don't know anything about, and I pretend like I know exactly what it's going to be like when it comes out. So take everything that I say with a grain of salt, because I have made speculatory videos where they present us with something, and in some cases I've said that, oh, this sounds horrible, this sounds insane, everybody's going to hate this, nobody's going to like Night Statue, it's going to be terrible, nobody's going to use it, this is so stupid. And then, you know, it comes out and everybody loves it and people are still using it to this day. Or, you know, sometimes I say, this is going to be the best thing ever and it's so good and it's so amazing. And then, you know, it comes out and nobody cares and it's terrible. So I don't know any of the specifics for any of this other than what it says. And so so that I don't have to go through all of this, what they're essentially doing, it says, like the Elementalist who has rune charges to spend, Mari will operate on charges as well. So whenever you activate your Mari ability, you're apparently going to get charges, and then when you merge units on the field, or absorb, which means scrapper, whenever you scrapper units, then you will get a thing will happen. A charge will also increase your unit's damage, as well as a thing happens. And then once you use up all of your charges, then you have to use your Mari ability again. So what they're essentially saying is, when you use your Mari ability, it no longer insta-kills monsters and summons a monster on your opponent's field. It instead gives you charges like Elementalist. There's a big part of me that thinks that you're going to have to merge onto Mari tiles, because like I've said for a very long time, they love tiles. They love given tiles. I thought that when they were going to re-update Trickster, I thought Trickster was going to get tiles as well. But you got J tiles and Gadget. Gadget was the original. And then you have Zeus got tiles, and then Jay got tiles, and then Necromancer has tiles, and Elementalist has tiles. They love giving tiles. And so if the function is you have to merge on a tile, I don't know if I like it, but I suppose you are going to put this into a merge-based deck, and they're trying to come out with a different kind of deck than a DPS deck, even though, yes, you're gonna still have to do DPS damage, because you still have to kill the monsters on your field. And so, in effect, it is still going to be a damage-based deck, but they are trying to create a separate strategy that is not inherently toxic, although I think toxic is pretty much what you're going to put in this deck anyway, as well. And so they give you like examples for things that you can use, or things that have things where you summon onto your opponent's field. Now the examples that they gave are what I call activated abilities. So Alchemist, if you merge two Alchemists, you get a Golem. Vampire, when your Lord Vampire bites something, it summons a white onto your opponent's board. Summoner, when you merge two Summoners together. Scrapper, whenever you eat something. Cultist, with the right side talent, I can't remember. It's when you activate the mana activation button, and then obviously Demonologist, when you merge two Demonologists together. Now, my question to Dr. Agon was, is it only activated abilities, or is it going to be passive people as well? So, for example, Reaper, whenever it insta-kills monsters, it summons it summons monsters to your opponent's side, just passively, or Portal Mage whenever it Portal Mages monsters on your side and throws it over to your opponent. You don't have to do anything; it just does it. I like that kind of summoning way more than this kind of summoning, where you have to actively do something, like a Treant deck, right? Where you have to actively like merge things together. I think that a static based deck, where you're constantly summoning things to your opponent's side, I think that's a better version of a deck, but they are trying to make it to where you have to merge things and eat things in order for this strategy to work. My reservation with this entire strategy as a strategy, as it has always been, because I love this idea. I love, whenever I play games, I love playing, I remember when I first picked up Diablo. Diablo 2 was the first game that I started with, and then I went back to Diablo 1, and then I progressed to Diablo 3. But I played Diablo 2 first, and the first person that I picked was a Necromancer. And that began my love for, I love summoning things. I love summoning like 50 things and just walking, and then all my summoned creatures just like attack everything. It feels like AoE, it feels like a large quantity of damage, and then you have the ability as a character to also deal damage, but all of your minions are also dealing damage as well. It feels very overwhelming to the opponent, and I like that idea. The problem with that idea is resource management. The idea that you have to keep killing things in order to raise skeletons. But what if they just flame wave you and they all die? It's like, oh, well, now I have to regain all of my resources, right? And then they flame wave you and then you die, right? That was my problem when I got to the end boss, when I got to Diablo. With my skeleton strategy, it like worked all the way up until that point, and he just kept flame waving me, and there was no monsters that I could kill like to do anything to him, and then I just like I quit the game. I was like, well, I got pretty far though. My problem with the summoning strategy is that you're giving your opponent mana. You're spending mana to summon in 2 monsters in order to merge them, in order to summon to your opponent's field to have them instant kill that. When people are doing trillions of damage, what are you doing? What is the monster that you're summoning giving you at all? The reason why Demonologist in its current form doesn't work is because you're summoning in 2 Demonologists eventually in your summon-ins, and you're merging them together to gain mana. Yay! You probably spent more mana to gain that amount of mana. It's why Priestess doesn't work. At a certain point, because your mana cost keeps increasing, you're expelling more mana than the thing that is supposed to give you mana is giving you. And so if you expel mana to not get mana, right? You're summoning in 2 summoners, right? And then you merge them to summon in a monster to them, to give them mana, because they're just gonna insta-kill your one monster that you sent them. I don't know how this strategy works. They are coming out with another summoning based unit. If you look at this is a type of deck, and right here there is a pointer finger to a watermark. If you count the amount of units that they've listed: Demonologist, Summoner with multiple summoning and Wrath of the Ancestors, Harlequin and Trapper, that's 4 units, and a secret 5th unit that is presumably the new unit. The new summoning-based unit. Now, this could all change. All of everything that I'm saying, like I said, could all change. We have to see this in practice, because I don't really have thoughts on this, because I don't know how they're reworking that idea. I don't know how many monsters you have to send in order to quote unquote overwhelm your opponent to where they can't kill the wave. When they can kill like billion health bosses, what do you have to send in order for them to not be able to kill a wave of monsters? And so and are you giving them mana? If they kill the monsters that you're sending them, are you also giving them mana to be even more ahead of you? The other thing that they noticed in this, we're also reworking Demonologist. In addition, we are planning a future piece of equipment that will synergize with summoned monsters. Now, this doesn't sound like a terrible thing, but for newer players that are trying to get specific items, it is going to be a terrible thing, because now they're adding another item to the item pool that you will now have to get. So now whenever you get equipment, you have the ability to get this summoned thing. You could get a staff. You could get a sword. You could get a spear. You could get a crit bow. And depending on what you're trying to upgrade, it might take you a couple tries if you ever do this. If you start doing this random thing, and you don't just like wait for equipment, like just passively, you might have to go a couple of tries in order to get this new summoned weapon thing. So that is also going to add to that. That's pretty much everything that I wanted to say about that. But then they also gave us another update, and this is about Mirror Match. Now, Mirror Match, for everybody that doesn't already know, they're changing the rewards for Mirror Match, and the way that they're changing it is you will no longer, with your 100 tokens, you're getting about 175 tokens if you buy the pass. You're getting 25 tokens if you don't buy the pass. So in total, you're getting 170, I believe it was like 175. And for 100 tokens, you will be getting a chest where you have the choice of one replacement, and that's it. And so you have the choice of two, and then you can replace one, and then you have to pick between all of the event units that are currently in events. So not like a Tesla, not a robot, right? Like specific Pantheon units. All the Pantheon units are event units. You will get two choices, and then you can replace one, like an Archmage chest, I believe. I believe that's how it's going to work. And then you'll have a replacement choice, and then you have to pick one. So a lot of people didn't like this, obviously, because you're now spending $10 for an event pass, and you don't even have the ability to pick what you actually want. You could be given the choice of two things that you don't care about, and then when you replace it, be given the choice of something else that you don't care about. Or maybe you've already maxed it out. Or maybe you don't care about reincarnation, so you don't want the extra copy. Or maybe like $10 for an orb doesn't sound like a good deal for you, because you could throw it in to get an orb. Maybe that doesn't sound like a great deal for you when you're spending money on an event pass. And so I think to alleviate that a little bit, they decided to give us this update. New event chests are coming to the shop. The first chest can be purchased for 100 event tokens and let you choose a specific legendary event unit. It's available once per season. Now, what they mean by shop, every single time. What they mean by shop, I'm assuming, and this is just an assumption, but I think that they mean the seasonal shop. And if they don't, then they mean the Mirror Match shop, but only once per season, and in either case, it works both ways. So in the seasonal shop, yeah. So like in the seasonal shop, like this, and there's also going to be a one that you can get for rune keys as well that I'll talk about. But this is what I think that they mean. In terms of seasonal shop, it's just like once a month, and that's what it means. Or it's just going to be in the Mirror Match event, so you'll be able to buy it in the Mirror Match event, but only once per month. And in that way, they're giving you a choice, where you can pick any it lets you choose a specific legendary event card. I think that's a good change. I think giving you the option to not spend your tokens on in the event and just saving up for this once a month, I think that's a little bit better. I think that gives you at the very least one guaranteed one per season, as opposed to, what if I spend $40, over the course of 4 events and I don't get the thing that I want? Because right now in my game, I need 2 genies and I'll have a level 15 genie. I very desperately need genies, but I'm also not willing to spend, I think it's $15 for a genie. Because that's what it currently is. And I could buy a singular genie for $15. A singular guaranteed genie for $15. And I'm not willing to do that. But I think at the very least, this will make you feel better once per month of getting a specific event unit that you actually want. So I think that's good. The second chest allows you to choose any legendary unit, including event ones. To unlock it, you'll need 4 lucky tokens. Now, I really don't like this change. So it says to find them, they will be in caskets on stage 5 of the free event pass, and from the casket on stage 2 of the premium pass. So you have 2 chances at caskets to get a coin, and you need 4 of them. Now, I don't know what the percentages of this is going to be, but I assume low, maybe, presumably, and you need 4 of them, so that's something. But it's also taking away from the other potential rewards that you could be getting from a casket as well. And so, again, like, this is going to be something that we'll have to see in practice. I like this change. You'll now be earning PvP trophies along with rewards from the event. So when you win your 6 wins in events, you will also be gaining PvP trophies passively, which I think is cool. It's another way to cheese your progression in PvP. The random event exclusive units will also appear in the seasonal store for rune keys. So once you conquer floor 2, 3, or 4 of the Dragon Rift, you will be able to access rune keys, or you'll be able to access a event exclusive unit for rune keys. Now, this will have to be every time. I mention this every time because there are times when I'm not videoing where I have the ability to like leave this screen for like 40s of minutes and come back and it's still open. But every single time in a video, I can never go back and jump back into this screen. It's always gone. Anyway, and I always have to just wait for it to reload. In the seasonal shop, you're going to be able to buy it for rune keys. Now, my assumption is that it's going to be more than a glutton chest, but less than a chest of choice. I feel like that is where it would probably sit. Like, it's probably not going to be 250 because that doesn't make sense. Because in the 250 chest, you can just pick literally anything. But it has to be more than a glutton chest because it's choice. So it's not choice of everything, but it is choice in the way that you can pick a specific thing. And so I think it'll be more than a glutton chest, but less than a chest of choice. How much more? I don't know. This is speculation. But that is where I would think that it would land. And I think that's also good. I think that that's also fine because that's giving you yet another way to get event units, specific event units. I don't like the randomness of spending $10 and not getting choice and not getting the exact event unit that you want. We've always been able to do that, and so them taking that away, I'm pretty sure this is just them band-aiding that problem, saying that we're still going to implement it, but we will give you these 2 other ways to get event units that you specifically want. And it's something. I'm not going to say that it's great. Great would be not changing it at all. But I guess they don't want people to max out event units as quickly as we have been able to. Being able to spend $10 and getting 2 event units per season, basically. Or maybe a little bit more than $10 because it's like 180 and you need 200. And so I trust that this is their way of slowing that progression in order for you to maybe want to spend money for that $15 to get an event unit. But they realize that this would just anger a lot of people. And so this isn't a lot. Like doing it for rune keys, that's once per month anyway. And then doing it as a seasonal item once a month is also once a month anyway. So it's not the best, but I think it's better than not having it at all, which is what we thought was going to happen. We thought it was just, oh, this is mirror match is the only way to get event units. You have to spend $10. You have to take your random chance, right? I think this is some kind of happy medium for what they're trying to do with this game. So I think it's okay. And then as the last thing, it said the Dragon Rift will now launch 3 times a month. I don't like this at all. I don't like this at all because once you complete Dragon Rift, there's nothing to do. I think Dragon Rift is so dumb for a lot of reasons. One-time rewards and the only main reward being gold. And then once you beat Dragon Rift 4, you just have to get gold. I feel like a lot of free-to-play players or new players love Dragon Rift because you're getting gold. My problem with Dragon Rift as an older player is not only that I don't need gold at all, but it's the idea that they came up with an entire mode with its sole purpose of getting you gold, where co-op is also a mode where you get gold and one-time rewards. Like when you climb the co-op ladder, at each of those little thresholds, you also get one-time rewards that don't reset. And then it's just gold, right? Why would you spend research and development? Why would you spend money to develop an entire mode that is literally just co-op? They could have come out with co-op level 14, 15, 16, and you now get celestial shards. Yay, right? They could have done that. They could have given you those one-time rewards in co-op. And instead of giving you 3 times a month Dragon Rift, they could give you 5 more maps per day. Co-op. Why would you spend the amount of resources to balance, quote unquote, balance this mode and create new assets for new dragons, and like we need to design this, we need to spend money. This is the stupidest way to spend money. Like, as Rush Royale, the development team, the money team at Rush Royale, you were swindled. All of you were taken advantage of, because all you had to do was give everybody 10 maps a day and create level 14, 15, 16. And guess what? You don't need assets. You just need a randomization. Oh, what should we put on floor 14, 15, 16? How about, I don't know, like Krampus. And let's just throw those bosses in there. Like old bosses. New seasonal bosses. Let's just we already have those assets. Throw them in there. That would be fun. That's it. That's all you had to do. I don't understand Dragon Rift. Dragon Rift is the most useless thing that has ever come to this game. Dragon Rift at a point was very cool when it was a co-op based thing, when it was a team based activity. That's when it was fun. That's when it was cool. When you got Dragon Rift coins and there was a Dragon Rift store, that was when it was fun. It was very fun. And then they made it co-op too. And it's so dumb now. And that's how I feel about Dragon Rift. Anyway, thank you guys for watching, and I'll catch you guys next video.